I get a lot of the same questions, and so I thought it might be beneficial to make a video addressing some of these frequently asked questions, and that way when somebody sends me a message or sends me a comment or something, I could give them a little bit more of a detailed response by directing them to a video where I've answered it out loud versus just typing out a short response back to them. And I've picked out a couple questions for this video. I'm going to try to keep it somewhat short and sweet. The first question is, what is better for fat loss, cardio or weightlifting? Now, the first thing I want to stress here is the most important thing for losing weight is to burn more calories than you consume. And the most effective way to do that is to reduce your calorie intake, not to increase your calorie expenditure. So if you're wanting to lose weight, you're going to want to look at the nutrition side of it more than the exercise. Now, ideally, in a good plan, you're going to be looking at both. Now, to answer the actual question, you're going to burn more calories doing cardio than you are lifting weights. One thing that I do want to point out here is I don't think this is an either or question. I think really if we're going to look at an optimal solution, we're going to want to do both. We're going to want to do weightlifting and cardio. And the studies looking at weightlifting and cardio versus just cardio, hands down, the plans that do both are better. Now, another thing to point out there is, when you're wanting to lose weight, are you really wanting to lose weight, like the number on the scale, or are you wanting to lose fat? Now, obviously, when we lose weight, I would assume that you're wanting all of that weight to come from fat and not lean body mass. So with that being said, you have to lift weights. If you're not lifting weights while you're dieting, you're going to lose lean body mass as well. Now, if you're a beginner and you're lifting weights while dieting, you're going to be gaining muscle while losing fat. And that's the ideal solution. But it's important to know that if you are gaining muscle and losing fat, the number on the scale might go down more slowly because you are, like I said, gaining muscle, but you are losing fat. You're losing more fat, actually. So it's important not to put too much emphasis on the number that is on the scale. The next question is, are carbs bad for fat loss? And again, I want to point out the number one most important thing when wanting to lose weight is that calories are the most important thing. The calorie balance. Are you burning more calories than you are consuming? If yes, you will lose weight. Do carbs impede weight loss? The short answer is no. Like I just said, if you're burning more calories than you're eating, you're going to be losing weight. Now, I would actually advise against restricting carbs too much, but I'll come back to that in a minute. Think about your calories as a budget. You have so many calories, that's your money for the budget. You have so many calories to spend in a day. Now, if you spend more of those calories on carbs, then you're going to have less calories left for your proteins and fats. And we obviously don't want to cut our protein down while dieting because we want to gain or at least maintain the muscle that we have while dieting. So we don't want our protein to go down. So really it is a balance of carbs and fats. So if you eat more carbs, then you will be eating less fats to make that calorie budget work out. And really that comes down to adherence. If you are a person that likes more carb-dense foods, then you're definitely not going to want to limit your carb intake. Or let me say this, you're not going to want to limit it too low. You're obviously going to have to limit it because you only have a limited number of calories to work with. But you're not going to want to increase your fats and decrease your carbs because then you're not going to stick to the diet and you're not going to lose the weight that you want. Now, if you're a person that likes fattier foods and you don't particularly care for carb-dense foods, then you might want to lower your carb intake and increase your fat intake just so that you can adhere to the diet and lose the weight that you're wanting to lose. Now, back to what I said a minute ago, I would advise against limiting carbs too low, because you want carbs in your system to fuel your activity, such as weightlifting, which we just talked about, which is very important while wanting to lose fat. So we don't want to limit carbs too low. Even if you are a person that likes fattier foods, you don't want to decrease your carbs so low that it impedes your performance. I'm going to link a few articles that I have written below that kind of gives more context as to these answers that I've given. I would also like to announce that next Thursday, which is November the 30th, I will be teaching a fat loss class at DeKalb MD in Fort Payne. I will also link that below. You can click to find out more details on that, but it will only cost $15 and there are only 10 seats available. So if you are interested in learning how to lose weight and keep that weight off without doing some ridiculous fad diet, then this is the event that you're going to want to go to. Like I said, it's only $15. The event will last about an hour with time for a Q&A at the end. Like I said, I'll link that below. If that sounds like something you would be interested in, then check that out, or you can ask me any questions that you might have about it, and I will see you then.